on his in the valley of the shadows, land of the scorpion, stung by the darkness, swimming in all the poison. On his angel music, so damn hot down here. On his angel music, so now wash away the fear. Come with some angel music, so dang hot down here. On his angel music, so to wash away the fear. Holy, unseen, I plead, show me some mercy. Grandma, come on down here and sing your prayer with me. Cause I can shine like a raven if I get a little bit of sun, a little bit of light, just a little bit of sun. I can shine like a raven if I get a little bit of sun, with a little bit of light. I can shine like a raven. I can shine like a raven. I can shine like a raven in the land of the shadows, the valley of the scorpion, stung by the darkness, swimming in out the poison. I need some angel music. I need some angel music. I want some angel music. The song to wash away the fear. Holy, unseen, I play. Show me some mercy. Grandpa, come on down here and sing your prayer with me. Cause I can shine like a raven with a little bit of soul, a little bit of light, just a little bit of soul. Black feather glisten, just a little bit of light, a little bit of sun. I can shine like a raven, shine like a raven. Black feather glisten. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to be one. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to know freedom. Oh, oh, Chichimbate, papate, pampate, papate, pampate, papate, tapate. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to be new. Me up from the Snake River. I want to know freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. I can shine like a rainbow. I can shine like a rainbow.
Mr. Enos is a funny man, isn't he? How you doing, Dennis?
What's up, Roger? Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Good. I don't go on StreamYard that often, and so it's like it's touch and go every time I get back in here.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, cool. Well, I've been spending the afternoon listening to Ether Cosmology do an argument all day with Saint Pierre. And
I love Shane and Alan, but sometimes they go so far over my head that I can't understand a lot of the things they say. Like they're way beyond my level of comprehension. Yeah. They're amazingly smart.
Yeah, they think outside of the box sometimes, definitely. And what they're doing now, the thing is, they're reverse engineering like the global coordinate system that they built off of the sky slowly, and they're doing it one observation at a time. It's really good. I like it. It's they're using their what they call celestial refraction is what they claim, and this is a globe claim that where you're looking at that star is not actually where that star is. It's actually refracted into the terrestrial, and they call that celestial refraction. It doesn't have anything to do with real refraction. It has more to do with just math and the timing of where the star is.
Yeah.
You actually see the star there.
Well,
And
wouldn't it be personal to where you're standing to? That would also change where its angle and how it's moving, depending on where you are and your personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the boundary that's around
Leslie's
you.
trying to come in. Hold on. Here he is. Should we let him in, Dennis? What do you think?
It's your show, man. I'm just
know.
here. I'm here for the ride.
Yeah. He wants to come in and you want to Wesley, you want to come in, dude?
That was rough, though.
Yeah, well,
that was rough, man. I don't know.
the point is we actually didn't get to go over the pitch data that I was talking about and why it works the way it works. But, I can demonstrate it for him. I can show him how you have to maintain a relative speed to keep your elevation due to thrust. And you have to keep that height at that elevation. But he's going to go with the whole gravity thing and we're being pulled to the center of Earth. So, I mean, I'm not going to even have that argument.
That was one of the most disingenuous arguments from him that I've ever heard in my life. I asked one question: is if I'm at the very top of the ball, okay, and the plane takes off from the very top of the ball, you draw a line from where you are, and you draw a line straight out, meaning I just fly it off the ball and fly it straight out. How can I get to the bottom of it without turning down, without taking the nose and constantly pulling it down? And how would your body angle change when you're sitting in the seat? Say you're sitting in the plane seat and the plane's going straight ahead. How would your body change as the nose is nosing down to correct to go around the curve? By the time you would get halfway down, your upper body would be, your legs would actually be under you. Your upper body would be facing down. Nobody has experienced that ever. And that shit on everything that he said the other night. That crapped on all the bullshit that he come out with after he didn't answer.
Well, he wasn't going to.
No,
he doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, he wasn't going to ever.
Well, you understand how they just subscribe the physics to it.
Oh, I don't understand the math. I'm a moron. That's what they do. That's what they do to deflect. Instead of saying, all right, yeah, you got a point, I would have to correct if we were going over a ball. How do you curve going straight? How the fuck does that even happen? How do I drive straight, but I'm following a curve at the same time? It doesn't work. No. I could get on a plane now and fly to Europe. Okay. I'm not curving. I could put an angle meter on the seat next to me, and that thing is going to go up. It's going to level out. They're going to turn the autopilot on, and that fucker's going to fly straight as an arrow until they say, okay, and then they shut it off, and they bring it back down and land on the ground.
Well, have you ever heard the isobar argument they give? The isobar in the altitude isobar is actually curved too. The pressure gradient coming up from the surface actually curves. So in other words, that elevation is curved too. Horizons are curved. Level is curved. Everything is curved to the shape of the globe, literally. But they can't show it. It's none of the data. There's no curve.
Because it's imaginary. It doesn't exist. I've flown in planes and helicopters and been on ships and went across the sea. Not once was I ever upside down because I went on the other side of the ball. Nobody has ever done. How many people fly to Australia every day? No one gets off the plane and says, puts their arms up and says, boy, it's great to be upside down. These people live in fantasy land.
They do. Well, I got to give it to Saint Pierre for actually tackling the celestial refraction argument, and they're actually just doing observations and making predictions too, and they're giving decent predictions. And they say we can't do that. The flat earthers can never do that. That's what McToon rests his hat on every time, and it's really kind of funny. Well, that wasn't Wesley in the back. It was somebody pretending to be Wesley, and Cubby Bear's back there now. Hey,
What's up,
I
Cubby?
triggered you guys.
that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
God no.
I even triggered Wesley into the chat. It seems.
God no.
Uh,
That was horrid. Thank God I had to. I mean, like I had to leave at 11:30 anyway, so I was like, all right, perfect, I'm out.
yeah, I figured that you'd had enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to literally go because Wednesdays. I don't pop on a Wednesday night because I got to work on Thursday. So, you know, it was no big deal. So I was like, all right, perfect. This ass is going to be on here. I could just listen to it later. So this morning, this afternoonish, I turned it on and listened, and I was like, God, I didn't miss anything. That was horrible.
It was a good show overall, I think.
Yeah. All sob shows are good. I like going on this show. It's fun. It's interesting because you hear a lot of people's different inputs. You know.
Yeah,
I'll give Wesley his dues. He answered the call and came up, even though
he did. And none of the rest of the Globies went too, but
exactly. They always run. So
yeah. Even though we didn't stay on topic, we went all over the board, man. It wasn't what the debate was about.
Well, you can't talk to him. You can't talk to them about a single thing because they cannot focus on one thing. They can't just say, okay, yeah, that doesn't, this doesn't work or that doesn't. Okay, yeah, you'll never ever hear them do that ever. I have a friend who does the exact same thing. I can't get him to focus on one thing to say, start here. This is step one, and go to here. This is step two. He can't do that. He immediately just goes into, well, I already know that, and you're a moron. And I was just like, conversation's over, and I just cut it off. I was like, okay, yeah, great. You think it's a globe? Have fun.
They'll get the Adderall drip out next time.
And that's coming from him, a person who's never traveled, never gone anywhere, never been on a plane, just probably never looked at the moon, but he knows all about it. Like, oh, please, fucking please.
Oh God, we were watching somebody on Banner after that show, and he pulled up some of Mind Shock stuff, and they got some raw footage of them faking the moon landings.
I haven't seen that guy in a long time. I just haven't watched. So.
No, Bruce ain't been around for a while.
No, not Banner. Mind Shock.
Yeah, that's Bruce.
Huh?
Bruce Banner.
Okay. I was getting all confused because of David Banner, but
the Hulk.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Hulk, you see my avatar, right?
Yeah.
They actually made a movie out of it, or trying to make a movie out of it. I don't think they actually did, but it was Hulk versus Popeye.
I was going to say, is he beating up Popeye?
Yeah. It's funny.
I was going to say, it's a green Bluto.
He stole my spinach.
Spinach. Speaking of spinach, I got some in the. I got a spinach casserole I'm going to eat. It's pretty
nice.
Cream, spinach, a little bit of onions on top. It's nice. Yep.
Nice.
Jeez, I got off topic with that. I was thinking about the spinach casserole. I gave RG back his car. That's a nice one, Wolf Child. Does RG have a Ferrari in his avatar?
I think that's just a joke
that
he does, but yeah.
It would be cool if RG actually got a Ferrari, dude.
He was over.
Yeah.
I was just watching, I guess that old me no more was doing a live, and he was over there on that one. RG was.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, I said that I was just over that old me no more. He was doing a live, and that RG was over there on that one.
Oh, nice.
Right before I came here. So.
Does he have a channel? I've never heard of it.
RG or old me?
Old me.
Yeah, he's got a channel. It's the first live that I've seen that he's had, but
a lot of people are doing it now, man. I'm proud.
Everybody's jumping in the game.
If you can make money on YouTube, yeah.
I don't got time for that. I gotta work, and I feed myself at the end of after I get off work, and then by the time that's all done, I got garden stuff to do, and then if Sav or somebody or you or somebody's on, I'll catch on to that. I'm trying to catch up on everybody else's streams when I'm eating dinner, but I only get so far,
Well, I didn't really get started till after TFE took off, and I did the same thing before. I didn't have my own content or anything, and it motivated me to watch these people actually distort the truth,
Yeah.
literally, in real life. It pissed me off enough to start my own channel. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I used to see you on Flats and Softs quite a bit prior to that.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's where we were actually viewing this whole thing go down in real time and all the deception that was going on in the process. It was just annoying, dude. And everybody just kind of like accepted it as like, hey, that's got to be real because they made a video out of it. We're watching them put it all together and it's crap, you know.
I dabbled with YouTube when the monetization first started. I've been on YouTube since it started, but I dabbled with YouTube when the monetization first started, and I never got paid for, I used to do computer videos. I used to do videos on building computers and, using old equipment and doing stuff like that because I'm a computer geek.
mm-hmm.
And Google never paid me. They never paid me for a penny.
Yeah.
They had a class action lawsuit, and I put my name on the class action lawsuit, and they still didn't pay me. One day I got a letter in the mail from the state of New Hampshire telling me that I had $1,150 from YouTube sitting from the Secretary of State.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, how many years later? They didn't even say, hey, okay, yeah, here's your thing. They just sent it to the state. It's like, wow.
I used to put up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just stopped dealing with YouTube at that point. I was just like, okay, yeah, cut the monetization crap. It's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I used to mess around and put stupid little videos up of like blowing up tannerite and shit out in the woods, and YouTube took them all down. I got struck for them, and now I just got one dumbass little video. It's kind of a little joke video about aliens, but yeah, I've never really done content or anything. I never even wanted to do content. I'll, every now and again, I'll put up a community post thing or whatever, but it's just all jokes, mainly, memes, shit like that.
I helped a friend years ago do some stuff on YouTube, and he had some ideas, and I helped him years ago. This was, talking 10, 12 years ago. But, I kind of dabbled. I kind of jumped out of it when I realized that why put all the effort into it if I'm not going to get nothing out of it? Or it's just going to get trolly, and I'm going to get aggravated and just be like, hell with this, So I removed all the old videos and killed the old channel. And said, I'll remove all that stuff. It's all crap. No one's going to watch it anyway.
Yeah. I only go
trolly. What do you mean by trolly? I know what trolly is. Yeah.
Well, but, trolly meaning like people are going to come in and wreck the chat. People are going to come in and and
yeah, I get
chat bomb all the reviews, and I'm going to have to sit there and go through 10,000, which is what happened. So I made it so that I have to authorize the the comments, and then that got blown up, and I couldn't even go through normal comments from real people watching. So it killed any of the people that it killed all the base from the people that watched my videos, and just made it so people just unsubscribed, and it just ruined it.
Yeah. So people actually looking for it, the trolls were successful in shutting you down, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah. But they don't think that they're trolls. They think they're out there on a mission from what? God or something? I don't get it, dude. You're out there spreading lies to everybody just by presenting facts.
Half
the way
the time,
you actually,
half the time, I just think they're like agents that work at YouTube that are trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
For a majority of, not all of them, but there's a few real trolls out there, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, remember what Congress did say, like we need to put a stop to this archaic topic by putting out authoritative content. So
right.
That's what they're doing, and what they're doing is shutting down us in the process. The people who run those people, like McToon and Craig McNair and a few other people like Creaky Blinder, they think they're authoritative content. That I guess they look at it that way.
Well, they're boosting them up artificially,
to
put them at the top. Every video Sov makes now gets a banner underneath it, whether it's from the United Nations or from from Wikipedia. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got the same banner. The Wikipedia stamp of whatever it is.
Yeah. That's why I was like, hell with YouTube. I just kind of quit on it. And I just made it so none of, I removed all the videos and said, no, I don't want your ads played. No, I'm not giving you any money. No, I'm not signing up for anything. And that was that. So,
yeah. That's what I originally just did it for. Was just for, I mentioned this before, was just for the music and stuff, because I don't even use like Spotify or Pandora or any of those. I just use YouTube, and but slowly over time, it just like more ads, in the middle
Yeah.
of songs, and it just got everybody does the same thing, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I did to stop that. I went and bought the premium, Cubby. I'm sorry.
I know, but now they're putting ads in the premium, so
I haven't seen that yet, but
not
yeah,
it's supposed to be rolling out pretty soon. I've seen a lot of content creators talking about it.
nice. Well, that's going to make it easier on me, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
not really. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm a vintage gamer. I've been gaming for 30 years. So
nice.
I would make not gaming videos, but I would, show people how to build machines so that you could run old software and have offline computers. So that way, you could have a computer do things in the background without having it to be connected online. It doesn't use digital anything. It doesn't have to be connected to the internet, and all that stuff got, I probably did 250, maybe a little more, almost 300 videos. I had pretty good subscriber base, and yeah, they just killed it. I was like, well, this was a waste.
I can understand, like, if you're doing live, Roger, like I can understand having premium for that. You don't want the ads, messing up your lives. But yeah, for me, I'm not gonna do lives or anything, so I just don't have a need for it. But
Oh, Chad, you don't want to start your own channel and then start promoting content? Come on.
not really.
Mio Mai, who was on Sov's channel, had a great idea about everybody just putting out tiny bits of content and just having an explosion of channels to just put out little facts. And it was a good idea. The problem is that it's just going to get buried at the bottom and no one's going to see it, because they're going to see the content and they're going to be like, oh, okay, he'll just push it to the bottom of the algorithm and no one's going to see the crap unless other people start to talk to each other about this channel and that channel and this channel. It's just, I was like, yeah, I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Nope. But
when they're moving the water constantly, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it first came out on like Facebook and stuff like that, people would just catch it and like think about the topic and logically digest it. But now it seems like they don't. It's like they have a side or an opinion on it. They just don't take the content for its actual worth. The more they hype up their side, the more ridiculous it gets to me.
Yeah.
It's just like nobody actually just literally just thinks about what they're saying. They have some kind of I would say, definitely an agenda. It's what it seems like. It's driven now. So
yeah. No, I definitely support people who do it. For me.
Well, obviously, man, you're in here all the time.
I just don't have the time to do it, to put out any type of content myself. I'm always doing something, this is just kind of like my entertainment or whatever, but
this is entertainment.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Well, it's your general interest, and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with me.
Well, you're supporting basically people, normal people, actually just thinking about things. That's what I look at it. Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't like at the end of the TV. At the end of the day, I'm not watching the TV. I'm putting something like this on, something informative, something that's I'm gonna get something out of.
Well, you don't get much out of entertainment.
I look at it as interactive. It's interactive TV in a way. It's interactive. People can go and interact. I haven't watched TV since 2008. I couldn't tell you who's popular, what's popular, who's on. I couldn't even tell you. That's how.
I know the same feeling, dude. I'm right there with you. I haven't seen TV in God knows how long. Yeah. Now, the TV I do get to actually look at when I go watch my grandkids, they're watching YouTube. It's really weird. Yeah, they're watching YouTube content instead of regular television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the whole world's turned off.
Yeah, TV. A little bit. They just don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, well, that's just because everything is connected to the internet now. So the TV is the internet, physically, where before it was either over the airwaves or it was, cable system. Now everything is internet. Your phone is internet. Your cell phone's the internet. any of the computer, anything related computer, doesn't matter what devices, is some internet connection to everything anyway. So the TV is the internet now, literally.
Do you guys know where TV got started? Like as a trend, where they actually put it in. It was basically for soap operas and housewives to watch while their husbands were working at the mills and in the steel plants and stuff. The companies that own those sponsored these little soap operas they put on during the middle of the daytime to entertain the housewives while their husbands were at work.
Yeah.
So
I would
they
have
made.
thought. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, sorry. But yeah, that. It was basically a commercial enterprise that was built by the companies that run the industrial complex. Television was just a pacifier for the housewives.
Yeah, so they could sell a product also.
Yep.
I thought it was, well, I was going to say is I thought it was like a form of just getting propaganda out there to people.
Well, to steal people too, to steer people's emotions, steer people to buy things as the world turns, and and Days of Our Lives, and it's also gossip. So
The Young and the Restless.
yeah, exactly.
But dude, I don't know, I think there is a few people that still watch those.
Yeah,
I don't
bet
know.
you
My mom used to watch Days of Our Lives. It'd drive me nuts.
Like sands through the
Dallas,
hourglass.
that and Dallas. I was like, oh geez, I gotta go.
Well, you notice how it took over every genre of life after like the 70s and the 80s. TV was popular as hell. That's what everybody did. That's how they didn't talk to each other. They watched TV. And then when they met at work or whatnot, they would talk what they heard on TV. So that I think the politicians got the idea this would be a good way to spend things. So that they started evening news and all this crap, so they could actually tell you a story on their side of it, basically in their countries of what's going on in the world.
Well, they used a lot of that stuff to influence women too, especially in the 50s and 60s. That's how they did that with a lot of the sex stories and a lot of the gossip and a lot of the, of course, then they started bringing in all the TV shows and all the, Price is Right and Name That Tune and, $50,000 Pyramid.
You bet your life.
Yeah. So it's to influence people also.
Yeah, I thought they made them so that they could show everybody the moon landing. Got to get that out there to everybody, right? What?
Yeah, that was another propaganda.
I don't know. I was just kind of joking in a way, but yeah.
Well, it got rid of cinema almost, literally. TV.
Oh, the local movie theater over here, they closed it. They closed it in 2020. Went under. Why would you go to the movie theater when you could just do it in your house? You don't have to worry about getting shot up and people doing illicit things in the movie theater and kids crying when you can just get it right on your TV, right in your living room, and lay there naked or, barefoot, eating pizza or whatever. Why would you go spend $12 at the movie theater to get a box of popcorn?
I don't know what people are going to see because I have no idea what the heck is even worth seeing these days. But the movie theater we got a couple of them, but the one over by me, it seems to be fairly busy on the weekend. I have no clue what they're going to see, or how much it even costs. I think they have like a $5 deal on the weekend though.
Sunday they normally have like a Sunday matinee.
Yeah. And they give like a small popcorn or something like that. I can't remember what the deal is, but nonetheless, I don't know. I haven't seen anything lately that would be worthy of actually going to watch and spending that kind of money to watch it.
You want to watch? Go watch Wake. Snow Woke.
Especially when you got all these streaming services now. It just kind of baffles me.
You can lay in your bathtub and watch any movie you want that's ever come out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not blowing smoke up people's asses. When there was a company called the Sunshine Soap Company in Australia that started a local TV station. That's back in the early 1900s. That's what they actually did do with the housewives. That's where I got that from. But it started like that on a local basis for a lot of people. But Hollywood was making all their money off their merchandising and selling their movies, and the media organizations took over after that and got TV, and they started selling the same products too. Like, yeah, it was all intertwined. Like from your grocery store to the guy who manufactures your Tide soap, they're all getting paid for this television, and they want to push it. They did, and now it's completely changed. There's a lot of people who don't watch TV necessarily, but
yeah, they are, but they aren't.
they are, but they aren't. It's like you can't get away from it almost to a point.
I mean, my system, everything is the internet. So the phone, if the internet goes down, the home phone don't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything's the
internet.
internet up here. Yeah. It's you only have two choices up here.
You got landline?
Verizon.
You got landline, you mean?
Yeah, I have a landline, but it's
Gotcha.
it's connected to the modem downstairs. So it's
Oh, okay.
it's a voice over IP phone.
Yeah.
They give you a phone number, but it's not a cable system. It's a fiber optic system.
Yeah, I got fiber too. Yeah.
And it's the best internet you can get up here. It's 700 up and 700 down, so it flies.
Yeah. My
It's
I
cheap.
got 600. That's what I got. I don't have 700 quite.
We
But
used
I'm
to have
still paying.
cable, but the cable was like 3 times the price. It's almost $300 a month for cable,
Mhm.
and the up speed is crap. It's like 20. The down speed is really good, but the up speed's garbage. So if you're gaming or doing anything online, like streaming or anything, it's horrible because it's sending the packet fast as hell, but it can't get it back quick enough, so it gets a lot of latency.
Yeah, I switched to fiber. When was it? Last summer, I want to say. And I haven't had a problem with it. It's got never any drops or anything. But the only time I had one problem was when they originally installed it, the guy nicked the line or something.
Yeah.
And then they had to come back out and fix it. But other than that, ever since then, it's been aces.
I got the perfect clip for you for this whole scenario.
Yogurt.
Check it out.
It's yogurt.
Yogurt. It's all about what? Merchandising.
Merchandising.
Heard of you? Who hasn't heard of yogurt?
Yogurt the wise. Yogurt the all-powerful.
Yogurt the magnificent.
Please, don't make a fuss. I'm just plain yogurt.
But you're
That was the best
one-
line
Yes,
ever.
I am the keeper of a greater magic, a power known throughout the universe as
The
the
Force?
the Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yes, the Schwartz.
I hope I don't get a
But
strike.
yogurt, what is this place? What is it that you
Just
do?
pause it and talk over it.
Merchandising.
Okay.
Merchandising? What's that?
So you guys watched this movie when you were younger, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. This is a movie worth going to see in the movie theaters back then.
Yeah. May the Schwartz be with you.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
But you notice how they went limp eventually.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to yogurt.
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store. Come, walk this way. Take a look. We put the picture's name on everything. Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs the t-shirt. Spaceballs the coloring book. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one. Last but not least, Spaceballs the doll. Me.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Adorable.
Anyways, I thought that was a fitting clip to play right then.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sir, we've been jammed.
Is it raspberry? Only one person would give me the raspberry. Lone Star.
I always got a kick out of it when he says, "Go to Plaid."
Yeah.
We're going to Plaid.
Ludicrous speed. Now.
She's going from suck to blow.
Oh,
But yeah, there's many lines in that movie that are very repeatable.
well, gentlemen, I am in the market for the price to get to Antarctica. I've been shopping.
The price.
So,
Okay.
yeah, the trip itself.
Yeah.
I've looked at some of them, but they're not taking me exactly where I want to go to a point. But it looks like I can get it for close to 15 grand to get an actual flight back and forth for the trip. That's not bad, considering how far I got to go.
Is this a different company than they went on, or?
Well, they're all kind of intermingled, dude.
Oh, okay.
There's like a few of them, and actually Nat Geo sponsors a lot of these trips down there. It looks like National Geographic is involved in it for some reason. It's really weird, but yeah, I think I can get it for around 15. And I'm looking to get a solar filter for my telescope so I can use it while I'm there. I just got to figure out how to film with it for 24 hours.
So if Nat Geo's involved in all these, don't you think they would have done something like this by now? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's like if they're involved in all this stuff, they would have the crew, the technology. It almost feels like, it feels like they purposely don't.
The one company I work with a lot, kind of off and on, is called PEX. Is the name of the corporation. I forgot what it stands for, but they do these little boat tours down around Antarctica, and they let you get off ship and go inland for a while and come back. They say you can transverse to Antarctica, but I don't think you can do it. I looked at the company, but they just have these penguin tours. Basically, you get to get off, go get on the ice, and go in a little bit, hang out with penguins. You can go to any of the bases they have. There's certain different trips that you go there here and there. And they have like a fleet of different small yachts that they go down to Antarctica with. I don't want to take a yacht tour. I just want to go down there during the solstice to the 80th parallel and be able to set up and film or do a live stream.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's the full date range of the solstice, of like the opening to see this supposed 24-hour sun? Or do you know?
From what I looked at, it's like they had trips that started around the 12th, but I think that's leaving from where you are to where you get to. So I think from the 14th up to like the 20th, 21st or something. It's like a week frame.
Oh, okay.
But it depends on what latitude and longitude you're at. You won't get like that solid sun, but I don't think it lasts even for 4 days, let alone a week.
Oh, okay.
And they purport that it does months in the north. And weeks, there's like I think a 30-day span in the northern part of the world where the sun is above the horizon 24 hours. Yeah. I did a whole show on it. I compared the two from what their documentaries that they've already made, and they weren't the same. The south didn't match the north.
No.
It literally got pulled because I was using, I guess, full documentaries they were using. I didn't play the whole thing, but I would compare the two side by side in the documentary. I woke up the next morning, gone. YouTube had pulled it.
Let me ask you guys this. I tried to think about that pretty hardcore when they went down there on that. How the hell they could see the sun all day, only over them, only around them. Because that's what happens, right? They saw the sun completely go around them in a 360, right?
That's what they claim, yeah.
All right. If the sun is only over them and they're at the bottom, let's say, look at it in the ball, in a sphere, a ball. And if it was only, it would have to be, if you were seeing the sun and it was on the bottom of the ball, that sun would have to be, it'd have to be pretty close to where you are, because if it was going around the bottom of the ball, it would be, if it was going around the outside part of the ball, the land itself would obstruct the sun, meaning you wouldn't be able to see it. So it's way, way, way down at the very, very, very bottom. It's real close to them. It's spinning over them. How the hell did the sun come out here? Almost in Canada.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. Now, if you put it on a flat, a flat plane, a flat map, whatever you want to call it.
An azimuth.
Yeah, an azimuth. Okay. And the sun is only spinning over them, and they're seeing it only over their head there. How did the sun come out here, almost in Canada, if it's not going around on the outside rim of the wall or whatever you want to call it? And I remember saying this to Jaren, that it doesn't work on either one. Because if it was only over your head and it was a globe and you were at the bottom of the globe, the Earth's shape itself would make everything above the equator in a shadow. We would never see the sun. That entire time it was only over their head. And if it was on the plane, on the flat, it's obviously not doing its going around, because it's moving out. It would be on the outside edge. It would have to completely come around for me to see the sun, almost in Canada. It would have to go all the way around to me for it to see the sun come up. And the sun came up here every single day they were there. So I saw the sun every day, guaranteed. And I said it to him, and I never got an answer back. He never said, hey, you're a douche, or hey, you're wrong, or, well, what did I see? He didn't say anything at all. And I actually took shit from both sides. Both people said I was a moron for even thinking that. I said, wait a minute, if it's on the bottom and doing this on the bottom, the people above the equator are in the shadow. We would never see the sun because it's not going anywhere else except over your head. So it doesn't work on both.
No, it doesn't.
My book at all.
Well, Justin did a documentary. I'm trying to remember the name of it last night. He did it on his stream. It actually shows that what they're purporting, like the sun's path within the celestial, isn't accurate. It moves into a different age, as you would call it. So the sun actually is in a different tropic, in a different region due to the time we're in now. It moves. It's still in a circuit, but it's a different circuit. And there's a couple of parts of history where they don't show anything about those ages, where the sun is. The Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer isn't exactly the path of the sun anymore. It's moved to a different path.
Have you ever seen the theory that the sun only spins around where the magnetic north is, and that every 25,000 years, the actual circuit that the sun is spinning actually turns around another circle and moves around? It's some people say it's related to the moon map, because the moon map shows that there's a lot more land, so that it's doing a circle wherever that magnetic north is where the moon and the sun is spinning.
Yeah, they brought that up in the documentary we were watching too. That's basically how it changes its course.
Yeah, and that this land, the area that we're in, say the United States, South America, whatever, at some point is where the sun is spinning around, the actual axis of where it's spinning is going to move, meaning that the southern parts of this country are going to be frozen, and then the parts on the moon map that are further towards, well, the moon map is flipped, so when you flip it the other way, it's actually the northwest is where the extra land is. That circuit moves around in a circle, meaning that circuit of where that magnetic north moves around in a circle, and the sun spins around it.
Yeah, I know. That's what they were going through, the basics of that and the mechanics behind it on that documentary. If I remember, it's like the true world history was the name of it.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 different parts to it. It's a good documentary. If I had a couple more hours, I would actually go over. I might do it one day. So I've done it. 3 or 4 other people have too that I've seen. They actually put this guy's content out. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I've seen Vibes of Cosmos a lot, because Vibes of Cosmos, even though it's a little out there, some of it is a little out there, it does make sense, because if that was the case and that magnetic north is going around in a circle and moving, well, the sun and the moon are going to move with it. That would then thaw out the existing land that would be around in that northwestern part of, where we are, which is the reason they made that circle, so that we don't travel outside of it to discover these places that might have had people on it at a different time. I think to a degree that maybe there's something we're not going to be able to find out, because we're not going to be alive in 25,000 years.
No.
So it's, in a way, it's ridiculous to think about, but it's interesting to think about that. Oh yeah, well, that could answer why that land obviously hasn't been frozen forever, Iceland at one point had green and trees, and what do you call it? They dug down in Iceland and realized that there was green and trees and animals and every other thing. That wasn't frozen forever.
No.
Moxie says it's the ball that's moving and not the sun. So now the sun is stationary and flat and not the earth.
God almighty. I'm telling you, man.
Well, yeah, I think it's where we get a lot of migrant cultures from, because they've had to move from place to place due to.
You have to follow the sun to stay alive. That's it. Where the sun goes, you have to be. If you go out of the sun, you freeze to death and nothing grows.
Yeah, it's a gradual process, I think, though, the way that the sky works, for the fact. And there was a lot of myths about, remember the gates, like the southern gates, the summer gates and stuff. Like you could get to the outer side of the rim of our world as it goes, and there's where more lands are.
Yep.
And that was propped up really big in a lot of the books I read when I was growing up.
Yeah, Vibes of Cosmos is the biggest thing that I can find on that. I mean, he's got like 14 books out, hardcover books that you can get that,
Nice.
that theorize all that stuff. So, I mean, nobody can say it's an absolute fact, but there is some alignment when you take the land in this area, whatever the hell we were in, and you align it up with the moon map. It's pretty damn close, considering that they're taking a landmass that we are on, that they've turned into a sphere shape, a ball shape, and trying to overlay it over a map of the moon. So it doesn't work because of I think a lot of it doesn't work because of how they've shaped it over a ball. And I think that's the problem. I think if Alan and work that out so that they can figure out the real size and width and distances, that might be something that might advance that theory a bit, that the moon map might just be a reflection, an X-ray of where we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's an X-ray imprinted on a physical item, yeah, definitely.
Plasma and everything.
Yeah. I think it's more like a battery almost, because if you ever look at an alkaline battery, after it starts to lose its chemical substance outside, it starts coating the battery, and it almost looks like the moon would actually be coated in an alkaline substance. Like it looks like it if it's charging or being charged by polarities between it and the sun, and it travels in its course like that, they would charge off of each other. It does definitely lead to intelligent design, though.
They're definitely opposites. So they're definitely opposites. One's a hot and one's a cold. Some people say, well, some of the things I've saw, they've said that it still generates, if you even take a temperature of where the moonlight is hitting, it's actually hotter in the moonlight than it is out of the moonlight. So it's weird. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we don't know shit about.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of physicists speculate on it, and they don't ever come to any real conclusions. If they did, you don't hear about it. You got to go dig for papers and stuff that you'll never find that they did research on.
Yeah, or do you think they just really know and they're just not going to tell anybody ever because that's the control mechanism?
Well, there's a lot of money wrapped up in this whole thing. It's been years and years and years. It's everything they teach, all the merch they sell, everything you see on TV. You can't just undo something like that in a matter of time. You take away their cash cow. There would be no more funding for NASA. Everybody would be like, okay, NASA
science would go to hell real quick.
Right. I mean, you can't just undo. This is a big thing that they just can't just undo overnight. That would just be devastating. Yeah. So, they're going to cling on to the lie for as long as they possibly can, practically forever if they can. But
maybe that was information that they learned long ago, and that only certain people know this information. We'll pass it down to certain people.
That's what bothers me, especially with this whole TFE thing. It's like, this is such like awesome information that you've uncovered, is like, why is it such a big secret to everybody else? Like, why not? It should be, you should broadcast it to the world 24/7 like you guys were supposed to do. You know, what's the big problem with it? We do 24-hour lives. There's CCTV all the time, but this is a big secret. Only trust us. We went down there and saw it. We came
Yeah.
back. You're supposed to trust us. We're the ones that have the information, the so-called data that never came back. You know, but yeah, it's all a big
Well, you know, according to Jaron, they did all these. But
Yeah,
if you look at
We did
Austin,
nothing.
Yeah, it was just a big Facebook freaking reel. And it was all his trip. He didn't do any. He held his freaking compass backwards. I mean, you didn't do anything,
upside
dude.
down.
Or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
same difference. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't hold my compass upside down to figure out where I'm going to.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to bring all my equipment with me. I have compasses and stuff too.
yeah.
I'm going to figure out where I'm at by using the stars, like you should. They're not going to take me to some remote island in the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to make sure I'm in the right position, right place. It's
Yeah.
not that hard to do.
That's all I'm curious is if they took them on somewhere like the outskirts of not Antarctica, somewhere that's not considered where you're not allowed to go. It still looks like Antarctica,
Yeah.
you know, that they could still film and everything could still look exactly like they want it to look, and then call it that, and then, you know, not actually be there, not have any real pushback on their trip because they're not really entering Antarctica, so to speak. So, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. You know, this is all I should say. This is all my opinion. It's, you know, I don't know.
All I know is they both didn't come back the same, and something happened because why that just that one single issue shouldn't completely throw away. What you're telling me, that one issue alone, like I said to him, how could it only be over you and the sun could come up here?
Yeah.
And I got zero answer. And I right there went unsubscribe.
Mhm.
That was it.
It's a joke. But
Getting
back to your trip, Roger.
Yeah. Oh, my trip is going to be completely different. I hate to tell you that. I'm not going to be controlled by. I'm going to be by myself for the most part. You know?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be guiding me by the hand, telling me where I can't do, what I can't do.
So I kind of mentioned it before, you know, that Sean from Kingdom of Context, he had mentioned going to, but you think that's anything worth exploring, or you just want to
I would love to go with Sean. He would be fun to hang out with, I promise you.
Yeah. I don't know him that well. I've only seen him. I've seen him a few times, but I don't know enough to really speak on him. But yeah, I was just curious if that would be something, you know, maybe he could help you out or offer. I don't know what his financial situation is or whatever. But yeah.
Well, my GoFundMe's doing all right for what it is, and there's a couple people in the group that want to make sure I go. So I'm pretty sure I'll have the money to do it. That's why I'm doing I'm pricing trips and stuff now, so I can actually get ready. And I got my passport in the works right now. And there's a few more things I want to get. I want to get a decent camera. I don't care if it's a secondhand camera, a digital camera. I can actually, you know, stream what I'm doing with, you know.
Yeah. Is there anybody like in the community that could like lend it to you for that time period or anything? Is there anybody that's got?
I haven't had an offer like that, but if I want to,
like Harmon isn't. I mean, I don't know how well you know Harmon or not, but he's got.
I know him well enough.
Yeah, I know he's lent out equipment to people before, but I don't know. I don't want to put Harmon on the spot. I'm just saying somebody.
Harmon, buddy, you heard him right now. Yeah. I need it, man.
But you know what I'm saying? Somebody, you know, that's got the stuff that maybe would kind of take the burden off paying for all the stuff, you know?
Yeah, I have a quadrant I can use to, you know, to get my declinations and stuff with. It has a compass setting, and I can find a star if I need to. Or I can't use it to really observe the sun with the whole time. But I have decent binoculars. I have, but I can't really just film through. I guess I could film through my binoculars just to get a gist of where the sun is and where I'm at. I could do that. And I have a telescope. And I have a tripod. Like I said, I can build a platform kind of like Mikey's got with his binoculars. That would be
or somebody like that. I don't know. People that got it, you know. I don't know.
If I could take Mikey with me, that would be
or
cool.
That too.
He's already got a setup.
However, yeah.
I've offered to do it. I was like, if you want to come along, and a lot of people don't want to go. They don't want to go to Antarctica and like freeze their ass off, I guess.
Well, it's like living here.
Out of your life, you know?
It's like living here.
Yeah.
This is like
Canada's cold. I live in the mountains now, dude. We have long winters. Our winter lasts up until almost May, and then we get a thaw, and the spring comes, and we get rains after that. But it snows all the way up through to that point almost.
Yep.
So.
We had a fairly mild winter this year. As far as snow goes, it was plenty cold, but we didn't get that much snow this year. I didn't even pull out the snowblower once this year, which is a record. But
nice.
Yeah, Roger, where are you? Without giving specifics,
I'm in. Everybody on this channel knows where I'm at. I'm in Denver.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're in. Yeah, I'm in New Hampshire. I'm up by.
I've actually met Duffy in person, dude.
Up by the Maine border.
Yeah, I'm sure you said. Yeah. I've never been up that far east.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful in the springtime, and right now it's crazy muggy out. It's like 80 degrees out. It's nighttime. It's like 80 degrees out, but it's like 80% humidity. So it's like being in a sauna.
Yeah.
The wintertime here, sometimes it depends. This past one wasn't bad, but we've had some ones where it went, 3-4 weeks straight, -20 every morning.
Ooh.
It gets brutally cold up here. We get those snowstorms. I love it, but I hate it.
I got to ask a question though. Why is it so humid on the East Coast compared? I lived there half my life. I lived in the Carolinas and in Florida, in that area, and the humidity between
like the mugginess of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different ground. The ground is a different. The dirt is different. I've traveled a lot in my 20s and into early 30s. And I noticed the same thing, that some places, Georgia was the hottest place I'd ever been in my life. I got out of the truck at midnight. I drove that truck all day. I got out of the truck at midnight. It was almost 100 degrees at midnight.
Yeah.
And it was the muggiest. I mean, it took 20 seconds for me to start to just, the shirt stuck to me and just, I was just like, oh my God, this place is horrid. I walked from where we were staying to the gas station, and I was soaked at midnight. And
the humidity here is way. I lived in Texas when I was stationed in the military for a while. It was way freaking more humid here than it was down there. But it would be like 100 degrees at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning down there, and it's still, I don't know. It just, the humidity is just different here than it is there. It just seems.
If it rains,
what's that?
I'm sorry. If it rains here, and say it rains in the day and the sun comes out, it saunas that moisture off, and I think that's the difference is in the soil itself. It's more soil-like here than it is, like I said, if you went down to Texas, where it's more the color of the ground is different. It's got it absorbs the water differently, and how it comes off of it. It comes off different. I think that's why it's so damn humid in the east compared to going to the west or more deserty climates, or like Oklahoma or Denver or parts of Colorado, or where the ground is different. It's got a different color. It's more like you're living on soil here. So it holds a lot more moisture, and I think that's what it is. When the sun comes out in the day and it's 90, man, it's like being in a sauna.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be like 100, or feel like, I think it's high 90s, but feel like 104 tomorrow. I don't know how they determine what something feels like, but it's supposed to feel like 104 here tomorrow.
I just remember when I was a kid, though, guys, like doing work in the summertime, the humidity was so overwhelming that you couldn't work for more than an hour. Or
take your breath away.
I told Saab a couple of shows ago that when I was in my early 20s, I took a gig with this guy from Louisiana, this guy Mike from Louisiana. And he was like, come on, I'll give you a job, And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do anything. I don't care what it is. He's like, all right, well, I got some guys humping roof tiles up on this roof in the city. It's a place called Somerville, Mass, outside, right on the outskirts of downtown Boston. I never got closer to death than working that one day in my life. I almost fell off the ladder. I almost passed out multiple times in July. Try doing roofing in July in the city.
No, thanks.
I never got so close to death in my life. That second day he called me. He's like, hey, I'm going to come pick you up. I'm like, nope, ain't coming in. Like I almost died yesterday. No thanks. All set.
Dude, I trimmed a 17-acre lot over like a week period of time, and I almost had 2 heat strokes in the process.
No thanks.
In the summertime too. Yeah, but I got paid good for it back then. I made off doing that. I made a couple $100. That was a lot of money back in my childhood. You'd say, yeah.
I was on a fishing boat when I was 16 to 20. I was on a fishing boat for 4 years straight, 6 days a week, and I thought that was tit until I started reading a while ago about the most dangerous jobs you could do. Logging and being a fisherman were the most dangerous jobs listed. And I thought to myself, I didn't think it was that dangerous until I never thought about, if this ship goes down, we're dead. So I never thought about it, because if I did, I had a theory in my mind that if I thought about it, it would happen. So I never thought about it. It never happened. We came close one time where the bilge pump stopped working and the ship started taking on some water. And I was like, oh, shit. Get the emergency suits out. We're 5 miles off the coast. And you think
rescues are fun.
You think 5 miles ain't a big deal, but go swim 5 miles in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, my dad went to Bud School when he joined the Navy, and they do that with you when you train. They put you out at 5 miles, and they give you a compass, and you got to find your way back home swimming at night.
We're all set.
Yeah,
I did it.
He didn't great.
I got paid a lot of money to do it, but it was really dangerous. And I mean, it was a long days, and it was not an easy job to do. But then I thought about it later on in life and thought, holy God, what the hell was I thinking? That ship went down. I was not going to swim 5 miles. It wasn't going to happen. We had those emergency suits that you put on and you pull the string and it inflates and you just bob in the water. Yeah.
Well, you know why they wear bell bottoms in the Navy, right?
What is it?
They do. There's a reason for it. They use those as floaties. If the ship goes down.
Oh yeah, the air traps in the pants.
Yeah, they teach you how to make an air pocket out of it.
Yeah, they used to do that. We used to have to take classes for that with our BDU tops.
Yeah, my dad was in the Navy in the 50s.
Good guy. Yeah, my grandfather on my mom's side, he was a midshipman.
I don't know what my dad was. He was on a training ship. He was all over the place, but they were on a heavy cruiser in the 50s, from 50 to 58. And he never talked about it much. I asked him a few times about the food and, characters and stuff, and that was all he ever told me. He never told me any horror stories about them peeling bodies out or picking people up, any crazy stuff.
My sister's a government contractor. She works out in Norfolk, Virginia, and she does a lot of work on the naval ships out there. And I went on the Truman a couple of summers ago, but I'm not, I don't know that much about them. I just found it interesting to go kind of.
Yeah. In Boston, they have the Massachusetts. You can go and take a tour on the Massachusetts Bee. It's in a port in a place called Fall River. My brother and my father went down there, and they did the whole salute thing to my father because he wore his whole getup and everything. It's like, wow, that's wild. It was wild to see him like so hyped up to be. I never saw him like so hyped up to go and see something. I think he just, it brought back some stuff. I don't know. He said he loved it. He talked to me about it when I was a kid, and I was like, no way. I was like, no, I don't want to go in that thing and be stacked in a bunk and, hot bedding and all that stuff. I was like, oh, hell with that.
Yeah, I'm playing one of Jim's videos right there.
I just realized that. I wasn't paying attention before.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's just good the entertainment for people. And Jim gets a shout out in the process.
Yeah, he does good work.
I come from Navy family, except on my father's side. My grandfather, sorry, can't get it out straight. He was an Army man, but everybody before him in a lineage, they were all Navy. It was like that was one off. I think it was because of World War II. That's why he joined the Army. Yeah.
My grandfather was in World War. My great grandfather was in World War I.
Damn.
I
guess mine was too. I can chase
not too many of those guys alive still.
No. He died the year I was born.
Yeah.
Year I was
I chased
born.
out some of my great grandparents. They were like in the Revolutionary War, and a lot of them were like scouts and stuff like that. You got to look at our lineage. It's really weird throughout our family's history, but it seems like everybody was involved with a war at some point in time.
But then again, if you look at our Social Security system, maybe those guys still are alive. I could be wrong.
Did they say there was people who were 165
Yeah,
years
that's
old still
wild.
collected checks?
Yeah, it's wild.
No, this is awesome what Jim's doing with what a P900 is. That's all he.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim does good work.
He does.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, on my mom's side, my grandfather, he was in the Navy, but he went to World War II, and he was in the Pacific Theater, is where they stuck his ass. He got captured in Japan. Well, that's where they took him, but they captured him in the Philippines.
Hmm.
His captain surrendered the ship, and everybody on board got captured pretty much, and just made POWs out of. And he worked in a copper mine in Tokyo for 4 years.
Wow.
I think only like 3 or 4 other people made it out alive out of the camps that were on his ship. It was horrid, dude. Wasn't happy at all. Not good. But World War II wasn't exactly a pretty picture in itself, was it?
From what they say, it wasn't. No. My grandfather was in the he's an Air Force mechanic, and he was in the Korean War. And then outside of that, I don't know how many other people were really in the military other than me. I was in the active Army for a while, but
Did you see any combat?
I was over there, but I wasn't like infantry, so I wasn't that type of a thing.
You were
I was
in
a
the back.
I was a mechanic too. In the rear, yeah.
You learn how to play pinochle?
Spades.
It's an Army trade, dude. How to play cards.
Yeah.
And my uncle
Spades was our thing, but yeah.
my uncle, he went to Vietnam, but he was in the Air Force, and he got to do warehouse work. He would do shipping, and he didn't get to see any battle at all. My dad, on the other hand, he wanted to go front lines and go fight communism. So they stuck him on a destroyer, and he was a radar man for years.
Right on.
I still have the book. I still have the book, the ship book that they give you when my dad got off the ship. I still have his book from the ship. It shows the first page. It shows the captain. It tells you all about him. It shows all the people on the ship.
Nice.
I brought it to one of the old timers at work one day and said, "Hey, check this out." He was on some aircraft carrier, and I went to hand him the book, and he was like, "Oh my God, wow, I haven't seen one of these." Him and this old timer guy, Harold, sat there and spent 45 minutes peeling through that book, the both of them. And they were like, "Oh my God, keep this. Don't get rid of this or anything. This is like history stuff." And I said, "Yeah, he's like, where's your father?" So I flipped to the page, and he's like, "Oh my God, you look just like him." I said, "Yeah." I said, I didn't have the balls he had, the work ethic. I said, he's the hardest working man I ever met.
Yeah, my grandfather was like that too. He constantly have chores for us as a kid, just growing up, man.
Well, if we did something wrong, he wouldn't hit you, or he'd yell at you, and then he'd put you to work. That's what he would do. He'd say, come with me, and he'd have you paint the fence, or sweep out the thing, or do something else. He would just put you to work. That was his punishment, and don't stop until I tell you so. Oh, okay. That was our punishment. You screwed up.
I just saw the thing you put in private chat. What is this thing?
It's a sky ice thing where they were talking about sky ice. They show some pictures. I don't know how true it is, but it's kind of an interesting one. I saw that one today, and I watched. It's about 5 minutes. I watched it. It's pretty interesting how they were talking about how the Russians tried to transport that sky ice, and it wouldn't even make something wet as it melted. It would just decrease in size without even making something wet.
It would evaporate that quick. It would just. Wow.
Yeah, they say it's just pure oxygen. It's just pure oxygen. It's just, I don't know what keeps it in that form. It was wild.
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I've watched documentaries on it before. You want to take a look at this thing?
Yeah, good if you want. It's interesting. That's why I grabbed it.
Nice. Let's take a look-see at it.
Exposing
Feb.
the lies.
What is Feb? That's my question. Let's try this out. Here we go.
Hello, family. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing great. I wanted to pass something along that somebody shared with me a while back, and I just haven't had a chance to share it, but it's extremely interesting. It's one of those things you just have to share, and the people I've talked to about it had never heard of it, so I figured maybe you haven't, and it's great that we share information that we come across, kind of break some of the mystery of what's going on beyond where we're allowed to explore. And this story is one of those that will blow your mind because it reveals sort of what we already assumed would be going on there. But this person that shared this with me was very kind and said, hey, this is really cool. Have you heard about this? And I haven't heard anything about it until they shared it. This channel here, Yup 0123. And they said, I found this on Facebook and I think it's worth sharing with you all. I
want to shout out Yup right quick. 1, 2, 3, wherever she is. Thanks for sharing the content.
The original post's layout untouched to keep its originality. So they've broken it up. You'll see what I'm talking about, or what they're talking about here in just a second. And the story, I will scroll to it, starts right here. And this person reached out on one of those truther Facebook pages. There's lots of them where they were talking about the firmament. And they had a military background. And they said, I've never really believed in Jesus or done the whole church thing, but I think I've seen the stuff you guys are talking about here. I just didn't know what it was at the time. This person was in the Army from 1997 to 2000, and they said, I was sent to McMurdo Station in Antarctica. I was a helicopter mechanic and a crew chief, and they had volunteer tours open for guys to go there and work on the helicopters there. When they asked for volunteers, sorry, there's some typos here. I'll try to read it and say what I believe they were trying to say. But it says, when they asked for volunteers, a bunch of us applied, but only me and one other guy got accepted. The application process had a bunch of questionnaires that we had to fill out, and we had to sit for a bunch of one-on-one interviews. It was mostly just a bunch of questions about what our interests and beliefs were. It's weird that they would ask about their beliefs. I was sent to McMurdo Research Station in August of 1998. When we weren't busy de-icing the aircraft and working on them, we had time to hang out with the scientists at the research station. The military unit attached to McMurdo was small, and we didn't have our own separate facilities. We didn't have a PX or a media center. There was no chapel or chaplain, and we didn't have our own separate mailroom. We just had to share the...
You guys have seen this too before. I know everybody has, right? They're doing core samples of the ice in Antarctica. Yeah. They're trying to find like amoebas and stuff and anomalies in it. Yeah, I believe they do this stuff. That they invest a lot into it. But what are they? What's the main goal behind it? What are they trying to accomplish? That's what I've always asked myself. Why would you need to take core samples of ice to figure out what's the end goal? What do they do?
I don't have a clue. I got to think in my mind.
Yeah, I think it's a waste of a lot of time and taxpayers' money for what I can. Like if they are spending money on this, they have a budget. They're like NASA, for what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got all this money wrapped up in all this nonsense, so naturally they ain't gonna want to give up any of this stuff.
Nope.
Who knows what they're really doing with that money too? If that's really, that's not getting funneled off to something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting funneled out to Epstein's Island.
Well, black projects and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's got 7 different islands, from what I understand. He owns, if he's still around. Yes, I mean, money like this kind of budget, it's like endless, right? You know, they'll never run out of money, so they can do anything they want to without the public knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, and if one person gets caught up in it or screwed, they'll just pull the next person in. It'll do the exact same thing. That's all. It'll just go to somebody else you don't know about. Until they get screwed, and then they'll just give it to somebody else, and somebody else will start the same, sex pod or, whatever crap that they do to sway people to do whatever they want them to do.
Yeah. How long has the government been doing stuff like this? That's the question.
Oh, longer than we've been alive. Way before we've been around.
And you get the aftermath thrown in your face all the time.
Yeah, regime change and false flags and what do you call it? My God, we can, we could talk about this for days.
I could do a whole series on it weekly and never cover it all.
Yeah, and never get a true answer on any of it either because everybody's dead, so there'd be no way to collaborate with anybody.
No, so you can fool the public anytime, any way you can. There's so many different ways, and I've looked into NASA in that kind of regard too. They have so much vintage vehicles, any kind of car you'd want. They have warehouses full of old ice cream vans, the military vehicles, everything from 57 Chevrolets to Cadillacs. They're all restored in mint condition. They have all this stuff.
Well, they could pull that stuff out and run trucks and go right back to the good old days and then leave us with all this crap that could just one snap of finger could get shut right off and that's it. They could go right back to the good old mechanical points and condenser and carburetors and run that shit on CLI juice and every other thing, I'm sure.
So I guess they're prepared for their whatever future they want to make out of life, what it sounds like to me. I'm going to go put this back on, right?
The same facilities with the scientists and researchers. So over time, I got to be friends with a few of them. They had two different kinds of ice they worked on and studied. This is where it gets interesting. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear and sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice. This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue. He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear thick, heavy going outside gloves to handle it. The stuff was so cold, it would instantly freeze your skin if you touched it. I don't remember what the temperature he said it was, but it was something like hundreds of degrees below zero, way colder than the normal ice that was outside. He had to carry it in a metal bottle that was kind of like a thermos. He let me play with the piece of it for a while. It felt lighter than a piece of normal ice of the same size, like it wasn't very heavy at all. It almost felt like you could throw it up in the air and it would just float back down. But I didn't try that. And it was also a little flexible when I tried to bend it. It didn't break like normal ice would. And even for a small piece, you could see through it. It was solid blue right from the surface. And here's the really weird part. It didn't melt into water. When it got warm, because we had it inside, it just started to shrink. It got smaller and smaller, but my glove never got wet. And there was no water on the floor. The stuff just turned into thin air when it got warm and vaporized. He said that was the reason why they had to study the stuff right there in Antarctica. You couldn't take the sky ice back to America to study it because it was almost impossible to keep it cold enough during transit. And then they shared a verse right here where it says, "And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it." And then we continue off where it says, "It would always vaporize into air, and you'd have nothing left when you got back to the U.S., he said. Russian scientists had discovered the same problem when they tried to take the ice back to Russia. So that was why they all had research stations in Antarctica. After maybe 15 minutes of handling the piece of sky ice, it was almost completely gone. Just a tiny little bit was left, and my glove was dry the whole time. I'd never seen anything like it before or since, and that's unusual because I've always had an interest in scientific things.
No, if I get down there, you think I could actually find some of this sky ice? Think they'd let me grab a hold of it? Like, sky ice.
Bring some back.
Yeah. Well, they said they had problems with that, right? It would evaporate before they would get back. Well, it would be, if I'm doing a live and I get a chance to like handle, so I'm pretty sure they're not gonna walk up. Hey, you want some sky ice?
No, that's a snow cone.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna do that. I might ask about it while I'm down there. It'd be a good question to ask people. Like, have you ever seen the sky ice? What is it like? Can you hand me some? No, I don't think it's going to happen either. This is interesting, though, considering that this is not the first person that's ever said this about Antarctica.
It's the first one I've seen in a while, though. I haven't seen a newer video made about this subject in a while, though. That's why when I saw this, I was like, "Ooh, sky ice!" I remember reading about this years ago.
Yeah. And Mikey's in the audience. He's got pictures of the firmament. Come on in and show us pictures, Mike. He's got some new ones, I think. I haven't seen yet. Him and the binoculars are hard at work. I think he tried the telescope and he didn't like it that much. Oh, roof. The dogs are on the loose.
I think that's even why I got selected to go to Antarctica, because a big.
What were you saying, Kevin?
Nothing. I just said, who let the dogs out?
Yeah. That's a good one. I haven't heard that song in a long time. How does it go? I'm just trying to think of the
dogs out?
Roof. But I mean, there's more to it than that.
I don't know the rest of the words.
Telling the story. I know. It was really catchy. Just the chorus, I guess. Back to the video.
Part of the interview was about science and what I believed about things. So I really thought it was cool to see something I'd never heard of before. The whole time I was at McMurdo, I heard people talking about the wall, like that was a special place. It's pretty common to find ice walls and ice cliffs all over Antarctica. The whole place is ice, but it's all just normal white or clear ice. So I asked my friend where they get the sky ice from, and he said it comes from the wall. I don't remember exactly how he described it, but apparently there's a huge wall of sky ice in Antarctica. He said it was hundreds of miles inland from the coast. I never got to see it myself because I was only, and then I'm going to skip forward, stationed to McMurdo. I didn't get to go out on expeditions. He said it was the biggest natural structure in the world. Imagine that. He said that in the 1960s, the U.S. Army had a plan to bore a tunnel into the wall, but they didn't have a boring machine that could handle the super cold temperatures. So they had a whole testing project in Greenland where they developed ice tunnels and invented new boring machines that could operate in super cold temperatures. So this was back when they were going into forming NASA and all the other things that were kind of strange, the Antarctic Treaty, around that time, pretty close to it. And he says, like they did this whole big thing in Greenland for just practice. So it's like they were practicing to bore into the sky ice. I'm not an expert on that, but that's just what he told me. Then once they had the new boring machine figured out, they brought it to the ice wall, or to the wall in Antarctica. He said that the machine bored a tunnel. I don't remember exactly, it was like 5 or 10 miles into the wall, but that they never broke through the other side of the wall, and that they still don't know how thick the wall is even to this day. And I'm probably not remembering this part correctly, but I think he said that at first the floor of the tunnel was solid rock, but after a mile or two in, the floor was sky ice, like it was sky.
Huh. Well, that's the end of that.
That's kind of abruptly
Hey,
straight off.
a little video.
Yeah, it was a good little video. I saw that and I was like, oh yeah. I said, I'm gonna save this. I was gonna show it to Saul when he had a show, and I watched about 3/4 of it, and the dog started to bark, so I had to go. He doesn't get too happy if I don't go over and give him some attention. He starts howling.
What kind of dog you got?
It's my sister's dog. It's some little farm dog,
Oh.
one of those ones that catches birds and stuff. I don't know. She got it from some rescue in like Pennsylvania somewhere.
Hmm.
And-
Like a little Springer Spaniel or something.
yeah, something like that. He's like a bird dog, like one of those things. You know,
Oh.
you shoot a bird and they go out and get the bird. Got it from some farm somewhere, but he basically lived outside, and now he's living the life of Riley. He's sitting in the AC, and he wants treats all the time, and he wants, so he doesn't get what he wants. He starts howling, and I keep telling her, I said, people are gonna think we're like abusing this thing or something. He just does that because that's his way to let you know he's not happy. He wants attention. So I had to go in and pet him just so he wouldn't keep howling.
Man, well, you guys up to anything else this week? Anything
This
interesting?
week? Not really. I got some more. Nothing interesting that you guys would care about. Some more gardening crap I got to do. But
Oh, like what kind of garden do you got?
I got a couple raised beds. I got around my shed. I've got like a area where I got tomatoes, and then on the back side of the shed I got raspberries, and then on the other side of my deck I got strawberries. But I've got Brussels sprouts going right now, but I think I'm gonna take those out because they're kind of overtaking my peppers. So I think I'm gonna get rid of those and just put carrots in instead. They got a little bigger than I was expecting them to.
Well, at least you're doing something, man. I don't have a garden growing here at all. I would love to have one. I have some potted stuff, but I don't have like anywhere to grow in the apartment complex I live in. There's no ground I can like dig up. I'm like, make a little
Yeah.
garden here.
I've only
Got
been
rock.
doing it. Yeah, I've only been doing it for the past 3 or 4 years now. But
Yeah, right.
I got some potatoes and some grow bags too, and some little by little I'm adding to it each year. But it's definitely a trial by error. It's not all the wonderful success stories that everybody says. I have good success, but there's definitely failures too.
Yeah, where I grew up, we didn't have. We had a little 4 foot by 6 foot strip of dirt in the back that I swear couldn't grow anything.
Yeah.
My mother used to try to grow tomatoes back and that stuff, and I tell her, I don't know why you're trying to grow stuff on that. It was a concrete jungle. You only had a little 10 by 12 foot yard, and that's it. Up here, it's unlimited, but we live in the sticks, and trying to grow things out here is kind of hard just because we're in the pines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my last place I didn't have any room, but now that I got room here, I got it all fenced in last year, so just slowly started to expand it a little bit, get bigger and bigger. I'll dedicate a couple more smaller beds next year, and little by little make it a little bit more. I got mainly the essential stuff, but just less grocery bills and less poison food.
Yeah. You're doing it the right way, man.
Yeah.
I got one word for you, your mom: hydroponics.
I definitely have grown hydroponic stuff before, but that was in the past.
Tomatoes, you mean?
Yeah, tomatoes, sure.
I ain't got nothing going on. I'm gonna probably hang around. I did have a couple little jobs on the side for doing some upgrades on some computers and stuff, but I think that guy just kind of gave up on his old machine and he's just gonna go buy something new. So that he kind of canceled out on me, and I was like, all right, not a problem. Other than that, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just hanging around. Probably wait and see what Saul's doing on the weekend. I'll probably hop on his show. I did a little reading today. That was about it. I caught that video today and a few other, like I said, the Vibes of Cosmos videos. He came out with a few today for the.
So, what are you reading? I'm kind of curious.
I
love books.
Just in general stuff, a little this, little that, little flat Earth, little globe stuff. Nothing specific. Just bouncing around videos and looking up. I did check out Alan and Shane's video, what you were talking about at the beginning of the show. And I did start to listen to it, but like I said, some of it is just so mind wrapping that I just couldn't. It's hard for me sometimes to sit and listen to it just because I'm not as as seasoned in the knowledge department on what they're talking about. It would take me years to even try to catch up to understand what half the stuff they're talking about is. I like it when they go on globe buses because it kind of pulls them down a little bit.
Yeah, I get you.
But just general stuff.
What caught my interest is Ben actually did from Taboo Conspiracy. Actually presented some of Stoneman's observations, and then he got involved with the doctor up here in Colorado who actually did a few terrestrial celestial observations with a theodolite. He did it on his own, and he came up with a thing called the null hypothesis. And you know what a null hypothesis is, right? If there is no in between ground, it has, once you hit that null, it has to be one or the other. So basically, what they did a prediction with a star next to Pikes Peak, and the globe predicted that it would be visible, I think, but it wasn't visible. It was occulted by the mountain, and that the degrees that they predicted for the flat Earth actually were more accurate than the globe prediction. So in order to compensate for it, they had to add in what they call celestial refraction. They say that's where the true star really is. It's refracted by in the celestial. It's not at the same point that you're looking at. What you're actually seeing is not what you're seeing, basically, which is a bunch of nonsense to me. If I'm looking at that star from that place, that point, in that time, that's where that star is in my mind. But in the globe model, nothing is where it is, where you're looking at it. It's all refracted. Yeah. The sun, moon, the whole 9 yards. So I don't know how they say this predictive model if it's nothing's in its spot. They use that for the prediction. That's why I like Mikey's observations, because he's actually looking at stars. Just saying. But yeah, I understand what they're doing. He's got a whole list of theodolite observations he wants to go and present and make a null hypothesis out of those, showing that the globe predictions are wrong, basically in real time. That's what they were doing. And that's a lot of people don't understand what they're saying because they don't understand how real refraction works. Snell's law actually does work. If you ever look at anything through any medium or a glass, it's going to not be exactly where you see it. It's in a different spot.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're not understanding how their eyes are seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't even understand how their eyes even work to be able to look up at the sky and see something and not understand that their eyes are limiting how they're seeing it. It's limiting the angle of how they're seeing it. Their position is changing how they're seeing it. You know, like I said, it's hard to even just get people past step one. They're already shitting on it immediately. You know.
Well, I did invite Mikey in to come show some of his observations, but he hasn't come in yet.
Well,
hey, Mikey, if you can hear me, you can come in and show some of your new work, man. I brought him over to some of his first observations. I got off his channel, brought him over to Saab, and Saab liked them. We were actually looking at like the surface behind the star, and it looks like a surface. I'm like, that could be a firmament. So that he's been taking a lot more pictures of when he gets clear days. In other words, there's almost zero refraction accounted for. He's going to come in 2 minutes. All right.
I always thought that it was a projection. I always kind of had an idea in my mind. I know it's not backed up by anything, but I always thought of it like a projection, almost like it's projected, almost, like the same thing with the sun and the moon, how it's just a reflective point. It's not almost like there's been occasions where you could see something through the moon or see something through it where, you know. Yeah, and I always thought it wasn't a solid. I think for a long time I kind of thought like, man, that's weird how I'm seeing that through the moon. How am I able to even see that if that's a solid? I wouldn't be able to see through that. Well, how would I be able to even see the moon, and from just my eyesight alone and be able to see it? How would that wouldn't be a trillion zillion miles away? How would I even see it? And how would I see a star through it? That's ridiculous. If it was a solid, there'd be no way in hell I would see that.
That was one of my first questions. Hey, Mikey's here now. Hey, I'm going to add him to the stage. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
We're in the good old StreamYard today. I hate this platform, to be honest with you.
You think
It's
so?
not
Yeah?
much to it. Yeah. I know you use it too, right?
Yeah, I don't
A lot
mind
of people like Justin is using Streamlabs now. So
I'm not as advanced as you are. So,
I'm not that advanced. Jeez.
yeah, I just stay with the basics.
Hey, I'm gonna roll out quick, Roger. It's good hanging
Okay.
out with you guys. I'm
Good to
kinda
see you, Cubby.
late down here, but take care. Have a good night.
You too, man. Later, Cubby. So you got any new pictures you want to show us, Mikey?
Yeah, I've been kind of what's the word? I'm kind of editing them so they're more visible to the human eye. Yeah, so there's I think a couple more, anyways, and I'm really going deep into my. I took my original video from like April the 9th when I was recording Polaris, and obviously the Northern Lights were out that night. Through my app on my phone on CapCut. So I emailed it to myself today, and I'm learning more about that app so I can brighten it up, because you can't really see much when you're, especially when you're sitting in your room or your place with all the lights on. You know, it's too much glare off the phone, and so I like doing it at night, or I always hide underneath a towel, you know, or a blanket to cut the glare out. And yeah, you can brighten those videos up. I may have to go over a lot of my footage over again. But yeah, there's something there. I don't know, especially that night, April the 9th. I've recorded Polaris, like I try to record it every clear night that it's out, that I go out. But yeah, this April the 9th was the main candle on the cake, that's for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Have you got them rendered out yet? You got them all brightened up yet?
Yeah, I got I put them in my firmament file there, so if you want to, I guess I can
If
just
you want to share it.
I'll just share my screen there. And it's very you can see it. It's not hard to see it. It's there. That's why I like editing these things. I don't like editing stuff too much because I just feel like I'm trying to alter it in some way to make it look better, but it like not to fake it. You know, I don't want to fake anything. I just
know what you're seeing.
Yeah, I want to do as less as possible. Now, did those pictures? Yeah, this picture here. So yeah, this is something that we cannot explain. So again, these colored ones are the stars. So there's one star there, one star there, one star there, and the rest of these lights are not stars. And this white smudgy thing, I don't know what that is. It's not on my lens. It's not on the binoculars lens. It could be a dormant comet, if you want to call it that, not moving. But that's the only thing I can come up with. And obviously this seaweed looking stuff.
That's the Northern Lights, I'm thinking. The green part of it.
Well, that I don't know. I wasn't recording the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights were north of me. But I think what may be happening is the firmament could be interacting with something to create the Northern Lights.
Yeah, like an electric charge, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
looks almost like
only happens there, right? Well, they say moss.
Yeah, it looks almost like a
Understand that?
moss green, like the color green. It's almost mossy looking.
Yeah. And
Pretty awesome,
so this would be a star here. This color, that would be a star. That would be a star, and that's the only. You know, there's only 4 stars in this picture. So, what's going on with the rest of it?
Good question. That's a phenomenon in itself. That's a decent photograph.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
You have a video with this too, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I have the video too, but the thing is, like I said, it's got to be the exact. So this has been like in the original video, you only see these white dots. Okay, very, very fine. And then if you can do some editing, like bring the color out, bring the brightness up, then the rest of this shows up, you know.
I wonder if you could do that with the video itself too. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think did I take some screenshots of that earlier? I can't remember what I was doing. I think I just was watching it. I brightened up the video and it was, yeah, I got another picture here. I think this is the other one. Yeah, so here's another one that's been, this is probably just, this is just another part of the sky. Is this, yeah, let me make sure what I'm looking at here. Yeah, this wouldn't have been that night, but this is just another general picture. And then again, if you change the color tone or the brightness or the temperature, yeah, changing the temperature of the color or the picture helps bring some of this through too. So
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely see what stars and what aren't.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then like you can't ignore whatever else is there. Like, and again, like I keep saying this, like I did email Sovereign there. We need to keep, if you're going to mention the stars, mention to the globies that there's no depth. Like all of these stars are side by side, you know,
Yeah.
as if you're looking at your ceiling in your bedroom, you know.
Yeah, like they're all at a fixed position. And
Yeah, exactly. They're all
something
side
is
by
not
side.
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's this star here, and then nothing. The only thing behind the star is the firmament, you know. So it's another dead giveaway. Like
That's
they're all
wild.
Yeah.
I would love to get a hold of Lucifer's observations. They use a binocular telescope too. They got probably a much higher power binocular telescope than we have.
How much
So
zoom is that for you to see that, take that photo? How much zoom is needed?
Not much. I use 20 by 80 binoculars.
Wow.
So, and then I when I do video, I zoom into about 7 or 8 times zoom. That's it.
Wow.
And that's enough. Like, yeah, it's amazing what comes through just with binoculars. Like that's why I just, telescopes are a waste of time. I don't know why anybody would want.
What do you use to record it? Do you put something on the on the eyepiece?
Yeah, my cell phone. Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, and I got a cell phone mount, a very good one, made out of steel, and it's a very good tripod. And I figured this out. I was taking all that information about these crazy ass P1000s, and those are horrible for recording stars. You can record the moon and the sun with them. Yeah, go ahead. And maybe one of the wandering stars, the planets, Jupiter or Mars or something, but if you're lucky, but they're horrible for taking pictures of the stars. These are not clear stars. If you haven't seen any of my pictures of my stars, I can show you those later too, but they're Roger has seen them, and I'm just blown away by them too. And this what is this one here? This one looks kind of fancy. Yeah, here's another one.
See those junction pots in the middle? It almost looks like they have connection points. See how it has the lines in?
Yeah.
Almost,
I'll show you one that you'll really enjoy.
Almost like it's shimmering. You ever notice if you look down at the water and it gets those kind of straight lines in between stuff?
Yeah. I'll show you a couple of other ones you'll really like there. And it looks like they're, you know how sometimes when, I don't know if they do this or not, the reason why they, you know, on street lamps, they sometimes have a connecting wire from one to the next for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they're transmitting power from that one to the next one or what they're doing, but it looks like that. I'll try to, I think I'm pointing. Which one is that here?
Well, you know what their excuse would be. That's all refracted. You're not seeing what you're actually seeing.
Which one is it here? Oh, this one here. Yeah, so we've got, I'll zoom into this. And this one's freaking fantastic. So we've got, again, these, like check this box out here. Look at this.
Look how lit up that is, though. You can actually see the back of it. Man.
Yeah. See, and this was one of the earlier pictures, hey, but no adjustment because we got this fuzzy thing in the middle too, eh? That was the one earlier with all that jumpiness and all that color, that seaweed shit stuff.
Looks almost cloudish.
And
Like
so yeah,
smokish.
yeah, we've got line, like it looks like a box here, and then these like ripples. They look like ripples in I don't know what it looks like, but and then we got another box over here in the left. I don't know what's going on there, but
Oh, that's wild looking.
yeah, it's just. And then one crazy one here. This one looks like a 3D box here. I don't know why this is coming up here. This one here.
Yeah, it does look like a box.
Yeah.
I've always thought this, Mikey. Since I looked at it, it's like this, almost like terrain.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, I know.
mountain range.
Yeah.
Well, like if something was broken off, kind of like if you were looking down at a mountain or you know
Yeah.
how you see all the different chunks broken off and all the different formations. It's kind of in a weird way what it looks like. I said if you were looking down into a pan of water and the sun was shining through it, how it has that glimmer in between certain spikes and points.
Yeah. And then, so I'm going to go over to a picture here. I'm going to really blow your mind apart here a little bit. So I've got the star Sirius that does look like it's connected to the surface. I just want to make sure I get the right one here. That's not that one. Okay, yeah, these ones here. Let's go with.
Hey, Mikey, do you clean your lenses off before you do this? I'm just messing with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jim, that could be a speck of dust.
Yeah, exactly. Where's my good one?
Well, you're looking through a lot of, you're looking from the surface and looking up through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, here, probably this one here. So yeah, you can see that there's this is the star Sirius, and there's some kind of a connection point here. I have a better one too. Actually, I'm going to email that to myself because I got a really good one that's altered here a little bit.
Do you ever notice that when you look at them, they have almost like a pulsing kind of effect sometimes?
Yes. Oh yeah. They're I can even show you a video. These are frequencies. So this cone-like shape here would go in and out really fast, like in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm gonna get this.
It's like it's charging the star, like it with a pulse.
Yeah, like a pump.
Yeah. Mechanics of the star, you might say.
Yeah, this one's better. I'm gonna bring this one up.
Like a bladder, if you know what I'm talking about. How like a water bladder moves in and out.
Just give me 1 second here. I'm gonna bring this one up too. This one's one of probably the best ones that actually show the star connected to something here. I'll just upload it here quickly. Load it downloads. Yeah, so there, I'll zoom in on that. So yeah, you can see the surface there.
This is the one that caught Saab's attention when I brought it over to show him. You can see we went over this.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, this
The
one's
wild
really
colors.
crazy. Yeah. There's usually purple and blues on the top and greens on the bottom, kind of like orange. I'll show you a really good one that's really defined, that shows the colors really good. But yeah, you can see that there's some kind of a connection point here. And then the best one of all would be the this one here. That's the star Sirius. And I
You got to
sell
put
t-shirts.
together like a presentation video, Mikey. You know?
Yeah. Oh, tell me. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a long presentation video, but yeah, I've got to do that someday. Yeah.
Guys, there's I threw up a little short picture for light spectrum, or what frequency of color is in the light spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at that, graph that tells you what the color is and what frequency and wavelength that's
Oh,
at.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That makes
pretty
sense.
interesting.
Send a back chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I just threw
Did you
that up
put it
there
in the
because
main
of the
chat?
color. Yeah, the private chat. Basically takes the frequency and then gives it a color and tells you if you're seeing that color, this is the frequency band that it is.
Okay. Yeah. I want to make sure I get the. I think this is. Yeah, that one's not good. And this is Betelgeuse, the star Betelgeuse. This should be to the left of Orion's belt.
And I noticed those two have almost the same shape. It has that pointed kind of tip.
Yeah, yeah. These ones have more of a not a frequency, but more of a continuous flow. At least that's what it looked like that night. Like more of a like as if it was running water type of deal. But
That's freaky.
yeah, no, that's amazing. I've only had a few good nights in the last couple of years, so it's lots of work. I do have a good one of Polaris here. That which one is it? This one. Is this yeah, here's one. This is Polaris. It's like it looks like a spool.
Yeah, exactly, like a spike.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. A sword or handle of a sword or something. This is one frame. Okay, so I have like maybe a 3 or 4 minute video, and this is one frame that I saw this. So that would probably disappear because it would just be a lot. It'd be kind of like this at the bottom, but through one frame it showed this. So you got to go through frame by frame when you're doing videos to catch all these things, you know. But these
That's like a tedious job, Mikey. It's tedious.
yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. But these ones here are continuous. This one here is a continuous. That was a continuous video for like 6 minutes. That wasn't hard to catch that frequency there.
Nice.
Looks almost like a wing.
Yeah. Or some say an angel, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of descriptions. Oh, yeah. And here's Capella. It almost looks like the star Sirius.
A little shorter, a little fatter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
like
little
a
chubby
donut.
around the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a donut with a hole in the middle that has something like
kind of pear shaped, like the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a color, that means it's a frequency.
Yeah, I'll have to
frequency.
look at that. Yeah, that's cool. We'll show you some more.
Here's a question: what is that frequency going through to make that color? It's got to be vibrating something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's emitting a frequency. It's in some form. I know through music does this exact same thing. When you they can take the frequency of the music and put it to a light spectrum and then say, okay, well, it's emitting this color. This low frequency is red and this dark frequency is this.
I got you.
Yeah, some of these.
Wow, look at that. Look at all the little connecting lines.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, very weird. Like, and I think this might be like this has to be one of the clearest nights because I was out last night trying to do it. Like I've been out last couple nights over the last week or so, and I'm having trouble getting these. Like, I don't know what they are, if they're craters or these lines, but again, it depends on how clear the sky is, you know. So, but these lines, I don't know, man. It's just this over here looks like tadpoles or something, you know, like
it almost looks like a circuit. It almost looks like a circuit board in a way.
Yeah.
You ever see how circuit board tracing is put on the boards?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we mimic that to make our circuit boards.
Who knows?
Well,
Pre-circuit boards, they would do what they call point-to-point. That's where they would use no circuit board. They would just create the circuit and just chain everything together in a big blob.
I'm trying to find my. I have a side-by-side of the moon and the firmament, and they almost look the same. I'm trying to find it here. Where is my?
So, what's the typical elevation for most of your observations?
Yeah, that would be 735, 40 meters above sea level.
You're not too high, then, are you?
No, not too high at all. Can't remember where I put that thing now.
Is it wild to think that you couldn't just take a balloon and raise a balloon up to a certain, and then use something to emit off of the platform or something you have underneath it, like a rangefinder, and see if it hits something solid or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
something that it could bounce off of, so that you can get an idea of like what range it could hit something at, to see if it's because if it's not a solid, it's not going to hit anything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta go right through it.
Yeah, to go right through it. I mean, if you did it at water, you would be able to do it. If it was a
Here.
solid.
It's right in front of my face. Yeah. So here's side by side comparison of the moon and the moon, obviously on the right. And why I do this is because I'm comparing these, whatever the heck these indents are. They look like craters, the same as the ones on the moon. And they have the same crescent shapes too, as for shadows, as these ones. I don't know why. Like, like I don't even know what this. Yeah, it's
Could be the same thing, you know. The moon could be made out of the same thing the firmament's made out of.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing I can come up with. If we don't know where the moon came from, it came from the firmament. That's all I can say.
Well, you know, it was a planet named what was it called again? Oh, the planet that ran into Earth during its formation, and it deposited an iron core in the Earth.
Oh my
I
God!
can't remember the name of it.
How would they even know? How would they even?
Yeah.
How would they know?
Oh,
no one was here.
Just noticed this line. I don't know what that mess is about, but that's new.
Yeah. Well, you know, supposedly they mapped the whole thing out. That's what they said. Both sides of the moon. You know, they got a model in Arizona of it with a film track around it, so they could film the moon landing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, here's two stars that are another line through them. You know.
Yeah, that's it.
And it isn't just glare from looking at it, because if that was the case, I wouldn't have a completely flat line connected.
Yeah. It would be all sporadic
Yeah,
or joint or yeah.
So if they're connected, they're charging each other some way, or connected like a circuit board, like Dennis was saying. That could be an absolute possibility there. It would make sense just by observation. Well, we've been on 2 hours, boys.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share right quick, Mikey?
No, I think
get
I'm
up?
good. Yeah, you can do your thing there, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I got to get some sleep sometime tonight, and I got to work in the morning. So that's the way life is sometimes.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks for letting me tag along, Roger.
Oh, it's absolutely no problem, Dennis. You've been a
nice
pleasure.
to meet you, Mike.
Yeah. Good to see you there. Yeah.
I threw that link in the side for the light spectrum. Thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah.
What's up? Did you put it in the main chat too, Dennis?
I don't. I'm not logged into the YouTube side. I'm just
I'll
using straight through this app. But I put it in the private chat. Just grab it and throw it in the regular.
I could do that.
Toss it over. That's for anybody who can go and look at that. It's just a light spectrum.
I get to toss things over.
It's interesting to think that frequency can be given a color, and that's exactly what that chart does.
So you're seeing in frequencies.
Yeah, exactly. You're visualizing frequencies. So if it's that color, well, that's the frequency it's visualizing. The old saying is, when you're angry, you're seeing red.
I got it.
Go.
Yeah.
You know what color is anger? Well, it would be red.
Cool. Old folklore. Well, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. I'm going to put a song on and play out.
Going, guys.
Hey, nice having you guys on. I appreciate everybody coming in.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah.
You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
I definitely will. Dead air, guys. I can't find my damn music video I had pulled up. Give me just a second.
Must we be the masters, the masters, the masters? Must we be the masters of limitation? All our rules and regulations, walls and border segregation, the caging of infinity, scientific mutiny, rolling ourselves ordinary, yeah. Pretend to know what we don't know, hold it, believe, and then we don't let it go. No more believe, I choose wonder, like a child whose mind is so tender. Don't let your mind be put under, keep on seeking, ready for the splendor. Limitless, 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 limitless. Must we be the masters, the masters, the masters? Must we be the masters of limitation? They've been blinded by staring at this soul. Those who say the truth is only one. Behold all these things and the countless ways we can see. Oh. Pretend to know what we don't know, call it belief, and then we don't let it go. No more belief, I choose wonder, like a child whose mind is tender. Don't let your mind be put under, keep on seeking, ready for splendor. Limitless, 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 limitless. When they say that things can be like that, tell them you don't know no things like this. Limitless, 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 limitless.